It is time for your Rangers 2022-23 season review, and it wasn't good. It was not good. It was horrendous. You know what? We're going to dive into it. I'm not going to really bother talking about the transfers because I will do a tier list on that, so make sure you stay tuned for that good stuff. But let's go into the season and we'll go through our games. There were the kits. Here was the squad. But you know what? I'll talk about each player, I guess, when we get to it. But yeah, it was not good, guys. And as we edge closer to the results, let's talk about our friendlies. I remember the first game. Rangers 3, Partick Thistle 2. I believe it was actually played at the training ground. But I mean, it's not nothing spectacular there. Game against Sunderland got abandoned. We were getting beat 1-0. We beat Blackpool 2-1. Not exactly, spectacular. Game against West Ham, there was glimpses of really good in there. We then got beat against Tottenham. I mean, it is friendlies, but I feel like even then, I remember saying in the review that both goals were just very poor defensively, and that we need to cut them out. And it was very similar to like what we conceded in the previous months, like in the Europa League final and stuff like that. And then we did beat Queen's Park 3-2, and also in the World Cup break we beat Bayer Leverkusen 3-0 at Ibrox, which I thought was a really was a good result in the first game of the Michael Beale era. But let's go into it. And here is our league. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to going doing this. But we kicked off the season going behind against Livy. And then we came back 2-1. But as you can see, there was just paper going over the cracks with that result. We then scraped past Kilmarnock. Morelos came back, got a goal here. I believe Cholak got the other one. We then pumped St Johnstone 4-0. And then Easter Road. At Easter Road, oh god, we went down to 9 men. I think both decisions were questionable, but I mean, let's not put it in the referee's hands. And yeah, we can see that goal, last kick of the game, and already at this point you can see that we're not playing well, and we've already dropped points to a juggernaut in the opposition. Rangers then bounced back with another 4-0 win against Ross County, and then it was a massive game against Celtic. This had we learned for the previous game in February and the other old forms we had lost in the previous season? Did we, buggery? We did not. We absolutely got ripped to shreds in this game. No real surprise. What followed after this, though, was 4 wins on the bounce, but again, more papering on the cracks here. I mean, the Hearts game was really good. It was really good, but the Dundee United game was abysmal. And so was away to Motherwell. That was not good. And one of the other worst games of the season was the draw against Livingston. But I'll be real, I was calling for Gio to get sacked after the Celtic and Ajax games where we got beat 2-4-0 back to back. I was. You can go back and check it. And you know what? That could have made a difference this season. In terms of every competition, it really could have, but it is what it is, and I guess we've got to move on. But the 2-1 defeat against St Johnstone was the final nail in the coffin. It just was not very good, that game. Then we scraped past Hearts 1-0 in an awful game. We then defeated, it felt like a defeat. We drew 1 each with St Mirren, and that was essentially what was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's last game for the club, which I'm not surprised about. But then what followed? What followed after this in the league? Not some of the most spectacular matches of all time from Rangers, but, wins. The only non-win in there up until the 3-2 defeat against Celtic was a draw against Celtic at Ibrox, which in turn we should have won, right? We really should have won that game, but we let it slip. But you know what, apart from that, we'd won all the other games and there's no real complaints for me there. But then the game at Parkhead, we'd already got, the semi-final, and I believe it was the cup final had already happened. Was the semi-final already happened at this point? Probably. Can't really remember. But again, defensive mistake. Should have beat Celtic at Parkhead, and we didn't. We then, another awful game against St Mirren, and we win 5-2, but the scoreline flattered us. And all the other games that we won previously, like in that big streak there, a lot were last minute winners and just scraping past. But you know what? That's what you've got to do to win championships. Not that we won a championship, but I mean, I guess it is a winning mentality just to keep on winning. And then we lost to Aberdeen, which in my opinion was one of the worst games of the season. Just did not look like doing anything. I mean, Sakala missed chances for us to take the lead, but I mean, that's just no good enough. After that, we defeat it. Aberdeen 1-0. Todd Cantwell Foley, it was an alright game. And then we turned up finally in an Old Firm. We pumped Celtic 3-0. Hibernian, we went to Easter Road and scalped them. And then the most recent game I was at, Rangers Hearts, we drew 2 each, but it did feel like a wee testimonial, so I've no real... it wasn't. I'd rather obviously win, and then we obviously rounded the season with a 3-0 victory. So as for the league, that did leave us 7 points behind Celtic. So Beale did close the gap, but I was calling for Gio to go when the gap was at 4, and then it ended up at 9. So by my logic, Beale probably still would have. That's only a 2-point swing, puts you on 2 points. It's if buts, maybes, but who knows what would have happened if we sacked Gio earlier. Who knows? You can't say anything. You can't discredit the other team, but it is what it is. Into the Scottish Cup troops, we have got this lovely line of fixtures. Rangers defeating St Johnstone, which was a Barisic folly, 1-0. One of the more memorable games of the season, the 3-2 victory against Partick Thistle. Tillman scoring that goal in the whole brawl. And then we let Partick Thistle score, which I still disagree to this day, but we managed to advance. And then a comprehensive victory over Raith Rovers, and then a 1-0 defeat against Celtic in the semi, which was just very flat, an awful mistake, completely switching off. Horrendous, man. Absolutely horrendous defending, and it summed up our season. Into the Scottish League Cup, a victory over Queen of the South. That was the lowest attended game of the season. And again, even that we went behind against Queen of the South. Fuck me, man. Come on. And then actually, you know what? Probably one of the worst performances of the season against Dundee. Oh man, this game was absolutely bogging. It was. We then defeated Aberdeen 2-1 at Hampden. Again, one of those games under Beale early on that we were not that good, but we managed to get the victory. And then in the final, we lost 2-1 to Celtic. Defensively poor again. It didn't really offer enough fight when we got it to 2-1. Like Morelos got us back in the game, and then after that, we just didn't really do an awful lot with it. So yeah, that meant that we went trophyless, because guess what, guys? and we didn't win the Champions League funny enough, but first game, this was when the writing was on the wall. Union St Gilloisy pumped us 2-0. We were abysmal. We were absolutely horrendous. And I've nothing really good to say about those first 2 games. We ended up winning 3-0 at Ibrox, but we didn't get that penalty before the second half, before the first half ended, man. Fuck knows, I think we would have been it. But yeah, you know what, we should have been smoking Union St Gilloisy, but we didn't. Then in the playoff round, we drew 2 each against PSV. Again, leaking 2 defensively poor goals. The Henderson Gary scores I think it was like a shot through like Goldson's legs. It was pish. And then, a decent away performance against PSV, but they just didn't turn up for that game. They really didn't, and we managed to win 1-0 and advance to the Champions League group stages. And what did that mean? I'm hearing people what did that mean? That meant 6 straight losses on the bounce. That's exactly what that mean. Look at that, man. Holy moly. We kicked off, like I said, 4-0 pumping by Ajax. Right, seeing that game, we deserved nothing, right? Just did not turn up. It was fucking shit. Absolutely no 2 ways about it. That was absolutely horrendous, right? You can't tell me otherwise, man. It was just absolute shite. And considering Ajax have actually missed out on Champions League football in the league this year, it's not a good Ajax team. And I think we should have done a lot better, especially against them. We lost 3-0 to Napoli. Now, at the time, Napoli had started well in the league, but of course, Napoli went on to win Serie A. And you know what? This was probably our best performance in the Champions League group stages. And I think we actually maybe deserved a point. Maybe that's pushing. We did go to the 10 men, but you know what? We didn't score, which wasn't really good enough. We then lost 2-0 at Anfield. Toothless performance. For large periods of the game, we kept Liverpool quiet, but we didn't do anything. Until Matondo came on, we had half a chance in front of goal. A free kick done us in. Leon King gave away a penalty. So 2 set pieces, again set pieces. And then by far the worst performance of the season, I think. Getting beat 7-1 by Liverpool at Ibrox. Absolutely embarrassing. Hyping it up as a Battle of Britain. We went 1-0 up, man. The scene, Scotty Arfield in his final season at Ibrox puts us 1-0 up, and then we concede 7 at home. 7 at home. I get it. Liverpool are a quality side, man. But to get beat 7-1, that Rangers should not be getting beat 7-1 by fucking anybody, right? Nobody should be beating us 7-1. Napoli then beat us 3-0 in Rome, in Naples. Didn't expect anything at this game, and you know what? I'm surprised it was only 3-0. And then we get beat 3-1 by Ajax at Ibrox again. Awful, guys. And that was how our season ended. No trophies, a very poor showing in the Champions League. I don't see how it can be worse next season. I actually do not see how it can be worse. It can only get, well, I say it can only get better. I mean, I guess we might not qualify for the Champions League, but at least if we don't qualify for the Champions League, I feel like we would go far in the Europa League. So, I mean, I want to still get in the Champions League, but I mean, that would be a positive. If we didn't. But anyway, guys, till next time, we need the Champions League, we need a few trophies, and we need to win Title 56 next season. Come on.